From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Well, good afternoon on a somewhat wet and dreary Friday. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. The storm that brought rain and cold temperatures to the Bay Area overnight also brought snow to our north. Take a look at this, the heavy snow coming down earlier this morning. This was in Lake County. Never a good day when that snow is going sideways there. This is in the city of Cobb, just a couple of miles north of Middleton. And give you a live look outside after a wet morning. The rain is actually starting to taper off to scattered showers this afternoon as the Golden Gate Bridge maybe getting a nice little shower and a cleaning and a bit of a bath. Let's check in with meteorologist Zoe Mintz with the latest. Hey, Zoe.
Yeah, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Bay Bridge, everywhere in the Bay Area is getting a nice cleaning. If you haven't washed your car, wait until tomorrow when it will be a lot drier because, yeah, you're going to continue to see a few of these sprinkles lingering throughout the next hour or so. But the bulk of the activity from early this morning has already pushed well off and away from the Bay Area. And we are going to continue to see these drier conditions throughout our afternoon. Just a few isolated showers out there right now. Really nothing too terrible, but it's still low-hanging cloud coverage. It's still pretty gloomy out there. Don't expect plenty of sunshine as you step out. That does mean our temperatures are staying pretty chilly. They're going to be below average all across the Bay Area, sitting in the mid to upper 50s. So a jacket and an umbrella necessary. But honestly, you don't need to hold on to that umbrella too tightly because, again, the rain is going to continue to fade away throughout the rest of this afternoon. Can't say an isolated shower or two won't move overhead, but again, much drier weather is on the way over the next several hours, which again is great news. If you have any outdoor plans Saturday, you should be good to go as this storm system is quickly departing. It's going to continue to make its way farther and farther inland, and as it does so, it'll be drying out for us here in the Bay Area. Still breezy though early this morning. We're looking at those wind gusts upwards of 25 to maybe 30 miles an hour. So it's breezy, but not nearly as windy as what we felt on Wednesday with those gusts. Breezy conditions sticking around this afternoon before finally quieting down tonight. I'll break down all the details that you'll need to know about our next wave of rain that we're already tracking. That'll all be coming up in my full forecast. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Zoe. Well, the slick roads may have contributed to a deadly morning on the Bay Area freeways. One person was killed in a crash along Highway 24 in Orinda. It happened just before 9 this morning near Wilder Road exit. All eastbound lanes are blocked, traffic being diverted to the Wilder Road off-ramp. Police have not released any information on the driver or what caused that crash. In Milpitas, a 41-year-old woman was killed in a multi-car crash while driving along southbound 880. This was just before 4 in the morning on Tasman Drive. CHP says the crash is currently under investigation. Well, today marks the start of the transformation of San Francisco's Great Highway into a coastal park. The stretch of highway is now closed from Lincoln Way down to Slope Boulevard. And next, the city will begin to remove the concrete barriers. This comes after Prop K passed in November with 54% of the vote and a citywide vote. However, 64% of residents in the Sunset, well, they were against it.
I'm a native and I feel so betrayed.
I don't think the city had a plan or budget to actually implement a park in a realistic fashion.
Well, opponents of the park filed a lawsuit earlier this week to prevent it from opening. The new park is set to open to the public on April 12th, a little less than a month from now. Well, we want to bring you an update on a story we have been following. Alameda County Fire confirms 3 people are dead, 4 people were injured in a house fire. This happened in San Leandro. We broke this news around this time yesterday. 2 people died at the hospital and a person was later found dead. And while officials have not provided details on the 3rd victim, they had previously said a child was unaccounted for. That fire broke out just before 5:30 yesterday morning on Altamont Road. This is in the Hillcrest Knolls neighborhood. That's a few blocks east of 580. Fire officials say a total of 9 people were inside the home at the time. Neighbors described what they heard.
Just heard the bangs in the middle of the night. The first one was louder than the second one, and they just happened right after, one after the other.
Fire crews also say they found the remains of a dog. San Francisco State Senator Scott Wiener wants to make it easier to build housing near public transit. He announced a new bill today at the Daly City BART station.
This bill will allow for more homes near high-quality public transportation. It'll allow for more housing overall, and it will support our public transportation systems with increased revenue and increased ridership. These two things that we so desperately need.
Senator Weiner says the bill will also give public transportation systems authority to develop on their own land. Well, the Senate is set to vote today on a GOP funding bill in order to avoid a government shutdown by midnight, that deadline tonight. In the meantime, the Trump administration is threatening more tariffs, even as concerns grow that the trade war will lead to an economic slowdown. Doreen Small reports from the White House.
Wall Street opened higher Friday following a rough day Thursday when the S&P fell to its first correction since 2023 amid uncertainty over President Trump's trade policy. The president has downplayed the recent volatility.
There'll be a little disruption, but it won't be very long.
In an interview with Fox Business, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick signaled that the U.S. tariff scheduled for next month could target cars beyond ones from Canada, Mexico, and the European Union.
We buy so many cars from Japan, from Korea, from Germany, right? I know we make cars in Canada and Mexico, but it's time to bring that back home.
As for the president's threat of a 200% retaliatory tariff on alcohol from Europe if the EU doesn't remove the one on American whiskey, wine sellers are finding it hard to swallow.
I think it's going to be catastrophic.
The trade moves come as the White House suffered a setback in another area, its efforts to shrink the size of the federal government. A federal judge in Maryland ordered the Trump administration to reinstate thousands of probationary federal workers who were recently fired. A federal judge in San Francisco also issued a similar order. And with the midnight deadline approaching to avoid a government shutdown, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer switched course and announced he will vote for the Republican stopgap measure.
While the CR bill is very bad, the potential for a shutdown has consequences for America that are much, much worse.
It's not clear how many Senate Democrats will join Schumer in voting yes.
Well, President Trump is expected to deliver a speech at the Department of Justice this afternoon about his vision for tackling crime and immigration issues. This comes as his administration has been trying to reshape the department with demotions of attorneys who worked on the January 6 cases and terminations of officials who investigated the president himself. Still ahead at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, a San Francisco tow truck operator indicted in what prosecutors say was a fiery plot to get rid of his competition. And another terrifying plane incident forcing passengers to evacuate, this time at the Denver airport. We're going to hear from someone on board when the cabin filled with smoke. And there's a live look outside before we head to the break. As you can see, the clouds starting to break up just a little bit. The Salesforce Tower standing nice and tall. We'll be right back. Well, a notorious San Francisco tow truck operator indicted by the Department of Justice accused of plotting to literally burn away the competition. Their cameras were there for a separate case in August when FBI agents raided one of his businesses, Specialty Towing. According to the new indictment, Jose Vicente Badillo was allegedly the mastermind behind a scheme to torch his competitors' trucks with the goal of steering business to his company's Specialty Towing and Auto Towing. The indictment accuses him of directing others to set at least 6 tow trucks on fire in San Francisco and in East Palo Alto. He's been charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit arson. If convicted, he faces up to 20 years in prison, a $250,000 fine. Badillo is expected to appear in court sometime next week. Now, this is all separate from the FBI raid in August. In that case, he faces money laundering and insurance fraud charges. These companies have also faced sanctions from San Francisco city officials. The city attorney's office suspended Auto Towing from receiving city contracts for 5 years, saying the company engaged in predatory behavior. Well, the FAA is investigating after terrifying moments for passengers at the Denver airport yesterday. This all happened during an emergency landing when the plane caught fire. Passengers say the plane was on the ground when the cabin began to fill with smoke. Everyone did manage to get out, but some people were trapped on the wing as the heavy smoke could be seen coming from underneath that Boeing 737. The American Airlines flight had taken off from Colorado Springs and was headed for Dallas before it was diverted to Denver. Those who were on board say they are lucky to be alive.
I'm really grateful that this happened on the ground, because if this happened in the air, I don't think I'd be standing here telling you the story.
12 people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. This comes amid a string of highly publicized air scares and deadly collisions since late January. Okay, back to our first alert weather right now. Let's give you a live look outside of the Transamerica building. Still kind of gray and a little bit gloomy outside, but Zoe, I guess we're going to see a bit of a break in this, aren't we?
Yes, luckily a bit of a break is on the way and comes at the perfect time. So any outdoor plans you have on Saturday, honestly, you should be good to go. There should be a lot more sunshine and slightly warmer temperatures than what we're feeling today. The bulk of the rain has already pushed farther inland, though. We're just looking at a few of those isolated to scattered showers that will continue to move through this afternoon. You can see across our North Bay, there is one final push of rain that's moving in. But again, it is not going to be very impactful. It'll be quick moving and it's not going to drop a whole lot of rain. And that rain is only going to continue to make its way farther and farther inland and depart. And again, by Saturday, it is honestly going to be really, really nice out there as the bulk of the moisture continues to track inland. We'll be drying out. However, you do notice there's still a lot of activity up across the Pacific Northwest. That activity will be heading our way by late Sunday and into Monday. So yes, there is another storm system that is on the way that is going to continue to make its way across the Bay Area. We are seeing quite a lot of rain right now, so all things to keep our eyes on. But again, it's not going to last much longer than the afternoon hours. By, I would say, about 6 or 7 tonight, we'll be seeing clearing skies, maybe a bit of fog still sticking around, especially down into the Santa Clara Valley. But again, it is going to be really, really quiet over the next 24 hours after this storm system departs. That's all, again, ahead of our next storm system that is going to bring a lot more widespread activity, and that will begin later Sunday. So early Sunday, you honestly should be good to go. Any outdoor plans you have to do. Again, that's the next chance for rain that we have into Sunday and Monday. Drying out Tuesday, more chances for rain Wednesday as this active pattern continues, but at least we can dry out in between each storm system. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Zoe. Well, in today's Project Earth, polar bears may dominate the Arctic, but climate change now endangers them. Aaron Zazande reports on how this threat should serve as a warning to all.
Oh, there you go.
They are putting on quite a show for us today.
They're putting on quite a show.
Here on the edge of the Arctic, the annual migration of these polar bears draws tourists, photographers.
They are sparring or play fighting.
And scientists like Jeff York. Buggies traverse this frozen terrain, bringing tourists closer to something truly wild.
What were you expecting? To see polar bears.
So it looks like we have a mom with a 2-year-old.
The polar bears pass through Churchill, Manitoba, hoping to catch a ride out of the tiny town on Hudson Bay's sea ice.
We see what are most likely 3 males.
After a summer of fasting on land, the bears need to get back to their frozen home to hunt seals and bulk up.
They're just dreaming of ice and being back out there.
But this migration ritual is changing.
The Arctic is one of the fastest warming regions of the planet.
Climate researchers say the Arctic is warming nearly 4 times faster than the rest of the globe, according to weather data. Climate scientist Flavio Lehner says that's melting the sea ice bears depend on.
It's important because it's a complete transformation of the ecosystem.
The western Hudson Bay polar bears are off the ice for a month longer than their parents and grandparents. That hurts their hunting and ability to have healthy cubs that make it to adulthood. A change that has cut this population by up to half in 40 years.
It's actually hard to find other places, maybe other than places that have been deforested in the Amazon, where you see such a stark change.
But what happens up in the Arctic trickles down to all of us.
If the sea ice disappears, the Arctic will warm faster and the planet will warm faster.
Think of that ice like the Earth's air conditioner. It reflects light and heat away from our waters. Without it, the sun is absorbed and warms our oceans. Scientists say to slow the melting, we need to significantly cut emissions from fossil fuels.
The Arctic is just an indicator for me of what's likely to come to all of us. It's nature's way of telling us we need to do something.
A change even the kings of the Arctic are helpless to stop.
And for more Project Earth stories like this one, you can just head to KPIX.com. Well, as we celebrate Women's History Month, the Golden State Valkyries are hosting a fundraiser to help girls in the Bay Area pursue their passion for sports. For every jersey sold, they will donate $25 to the Warriors Community Foundation. A survey found that 50% of girls drop out of sports by the time they reach puberty. The initiative seeks to help girls like Ava, who has been playing basketball since she was 4 years old.
I think growing up, it was really special to me to have people who were working towards the same goal as me and having a community that supported me.
And you can catch the full story from Amanda Harry tonight at 5 on our evening edition. And still ahead, Monster Jam kicks off this weekend at the Oakland Arena. We're going to take you there today for a sneak preview and introduce you to Sparkle Smash. And don't forget, March Madness tips off this Sunday when the field of 68 teams is announced right here on CBS News Bay Area. Tune in at 4 o'clock for a Selection Sunday edition of Game Day with Vern Glenn and Matt Lively, plus several guest pickers as we unveil our brand new Bracket Mountain. And you can compete against us throughout the tournament. Just scan the QR code or go to kpix.com/bracket challenge to register your entry now. Then submit your picks before the first round begins next Thursday. Well, Monster Jam happens this weekend at the Oakland Arena, and organizers say this year fans will get a chance to meet the competitors and see the monster trucks up close. Our Veronica Macias got a preview today.
Look, I got my wristband. It's a pink one because we're here with Sparkle Smash. But just for perspective, look at the size of this wheel. This is my size. Huge wheels out here. And we also have drivers who are so excited to climb on into this truck. Kayla, thank you for joining us this morning. Tell us about what people can expect and what's going on this weekend.
So anytime you come to a Monster Jam event, before the event, we like to have our pit party, and that's where we have all the trucks set out here with all of the drivers. It's a great opportunity to come out and meet a favorite driver of yours. And then we go into the action, which is going to start off with Monster Jam Racing. Then you're going to see a two-wheel skills competition where we're putting these 12,000-pound Monster Jam trucks on two wheels, balancing it and all the cool stuff. And then Monster Jam Freestyle. It's where you may or may not see a backflip, crazy crashes, and it's such a great time. We love putting on a great event for you guys.
Oh, we're excited for it. Okay, tell us a little bit about the role that women have played. We know that it's helped with the culture to help it grow. And also, I was reading a little bit about this truck in particular and some of the history it has with the world record and the driver of it at one point. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we have so many amazing, talented females in Monster Jam, and like I said, it's such an honor to be a part of them. You know, like you were saying, Kristen Anderson, she set the record, Guinness World Record for the high jump. Alongside with Cynthia Gauthier, winning World Finals at the high jump. I have Extreme Air of the Year award back a couple years ago. So, like I said, the females are out here. We're making a name for ourselves, and we're always looking for that next trophy, that next championship, or next Guinness World Record we could set to show them we belong in this sport.
You do, definitely. Okay, you're even calling the shots today because you have Jason inside the truck. Are we going to wave him down to like start this and just show people what it sounds like out here when you have this going?
Absolutely. Let's hear it, bud.
It is a loud one. We definitely need to have earmuffs. And we know that these drivers out here, I was asking them, like, at some point, you're worried about your hearing, right? But you're in there and it's such a tight squeeze, and you actually have like foam against your ears, so they're not worried about that. We're gonna tell them to turn it off. I feel like I can't even hear myself think when that thing is on. Super loud. I was saying when you're in there, you don't have earmuffs on or anything in your ears, right?
So we wear a helmet inside of our Monster Jam trucks, which actually has my radio in it, so I can communicate with my crew chief. So it is a little muffled for me in there.
I figured.
You guys in the stands. So
we're gonna be cheering for you. Thank you, Kayla. We appreciate it.
Well, coming up, happy Pi Day, and not just the tasty treat. How San Francisco will celebrate 3.1415922635 with an actual parade. Well, today is March 14th, which is Pi Day. If you remember from math class, 3.14 is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. Well, the Exploratorium is celebrating with a day full of math-related activities and, of course, slices of pie, delicious pies. They are serving moon pies in honor of the last night's lunar eclipse. Well, that's it for the afternoon edition. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Our next newscast is at 5. Have a great afternoon.